The slow work of love, patience, intimacy, and the art of staying. Segment 1, the speed of everything. We live in a world that wants everything now. Fast food, fast internet, fast answers, fast love. Swipe right. Send a message. Wait 3 seconds. No reply. Move on. We have forgotten that love is not a product. It is not delivered in 2 days with free shipping. Love is slow. Love is patient. Love takes time. And in our hurry, we have lost something essential. I want to talk about patience today. Not the kind you have at a red light. The kind you have when your partner is struggling and you do not know how to help. The kind you have when you have said the same thing 100 times and they still do not hear you. The kind you have when healing takes years, not weeks. That kind of patience is rare. That kind of patience is holy. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. Her name is Anna. She married a man named Paul. Paul had grown up in a house where no one ever said, "I love you." He did not know how to be soft. He did not know how to apologize. Anna would cry, and Paul would freeze. He was not cruel. He was just empty in the places where tenderness should live. Anna could have left. Many people did leave. But she stayed. Not because she was weak. Because she saw something in Paul that Paul could not yet see. A capacity for warmth that was buried under years of silence. For 5 years, Anna was patient. She did not demand that Paul change overnight. She did not scream, "Why can't you just hold me?" She left little notes in his lunch. She kept touching his hand, even when he did not touch back. She kept saying, "I love you," even when he could not say it. And slowly, very slowly, the ice began to crack. After 7 years, Paul went to therapy. After 8, he said, "I love you" first. After 10, he held her when she cried. Today, they have a marriage that their younger selves could not have imagined. But it took a decade. A decade of patience. That is what patience looks like. Not waiting for a bus. Waiting for a human heart to thaw. Segment 2, the misunderstood word, intimacy. Let us talk about intimacy. Most people hear the word and think of sex. But that is a small part. Intimacy is much larger. Intimacy is letting someone see you when you are not performing. When you are tired, sad, scared, ugly. When you have failed. When you have nothing to offer. Intimacy is sitting in silence with someone and not needing to fill the space with words. It is being in the same room, each doing your own thing, but feeling connected. It is finishing each other's sentences. It is knowing that they are angry even when they say they are fine, because you know the tiny wrinkle between their eyebrows. Intimacy is built slowly. It cannot be rushed. You cannot demand that someone trust you. You cannot force vulnerability. You earn it. Day by day. By showing up. By not laughing when they share their fear. By not using their weakness against them in a fight. By keeping their secrets safe. I think about my own marriage. There was a time when I could not tell my husband that I was afraid of being abandoned. It felt too shameful. Too weak. But one night, I whispered it. I cried. He did not say anything at first. He just pulled me closer. And in that silence, something shifted. A door opened. After that, he started sharing his own fears. That he was afraid of failing as a provider. That he was afraid I would stop loving him if he lost his job. We cried together. That was intimacy. Not sex. Two scared humans holding each other in the dark. The Bible says, they were naked and not ashamed. That is intimacy. Not physical nakedness. Emotional nakedness. Being seen exactly as you are, flaws, wounds, fears, and not being rejected. That is the deepest human need. Segment 3, the enemy of intimacy. There is something that kills intimacy. It is not anger. Anger can be a doorway to honesty. It is not distance. Distance can create longing. The real enemy is contempt. Contempt is the belief that your partner is beneath you. That they are stupid, weak, lazy, selfish. Contempt shows up in eye rolls, sarcasm, mocking, name-calling. Contempt says, "You are not worth my respect." Research has shown that contempt is the single biggest predictor of divorce. Why? Because you cannot be intimate with someone you look down on. You cannot share your heart with someone you think is inferior. Contempt is a wall. And once the wall is built, it takes years to tear down. I have seen couples who use sarcasm as a love language. They think it is funny. But underneath the joke, there is a blade. "Oh, you're actually going to cook? Should I call the fire department?" Huh. But she hears, "You are incompetent." He hears, "I do not believe in you." Over time, those jokes become a tomb. If you want intimacy, you must kill contempt. You must practice respect. Even when you are angry. Even when they have failed. Especially then. The Bible says, "Love does not dishonor others." That means you do not humiliate. You do not mock. You do not roll your eyes. You treat them as you would treat a beloved guest. Because they are. They are the guest in your life. The one you invited. Treat them like that. Segment 4, Real-Life Examples, the couple who learned to fight well. Let me introduce you to Michael and Lisa. They have been married for 18 years. When they first got married, they fought like enemies. Michael would yell. Lisa would shut down. He would follow her from room to room, demanding a response. She would hide in the bathroom. It was a disaster. Then they learned something. They learned that fighting is not about winning. It is about understanding. So they made a rule. No yelling. No name calling. No leaving without saying, "I need a break, I will come back." And the most important rule, when one is angry, the other listens. Not to defend. Not to explain. Just to hear. Lisa said to me, "I used to think that if Michael was angry, it meant he did not love me. Now I know that anger is just his way of saying something matters. He is not leaving. He is just loud." And Michael said, "I used to think that when Lisa went silent, she was punishing me. Now I know she is just processing. She is not gone. She is just quiet." They stopped assuming the worst. They started asking questions. "What are you feeling right now? What do you need from me?" Those two questions saved their marriage. They are not perfect. They still fight. But they fight like partners, not enemies. Here is the truth. You will never stop having conflicts. You will never agree on everything. The goal is not a fight-free marriage. The goal is a marriage where fights end with both people feeling heard. Where no one goes to bed feeling hated. Where apologies are real and forgiveness is quick. Segment 5, The Patience of Touch. Let me talk about physical intimacy in a way that is rarely discussed. Touch is the first language we learn. Before words, we are held. Before we can see, we are touched. And touch remains the most direct channel of love. But in long relationships, touch often fades. Not because love has died. Because we get busy. Tired. Distracted. We forget that a hand on a shoulder can say more than an hour of talking. There is a couple I know. They are in their 60s. The husband has Parkinson's disease. His hands shake. He cannot walk without assistance. You might think that physical intimacy is over for them. You would be wrong. Every morning, his wife helps him shave. She touches his face gently, carefully. Every evening, she holds his hand while they watch the news. He cannot squeeze back. But she squeezes. She says, "I can still feel him in my hand." That is intimacy. That is touch without expectation. Touch that asks for nothing but gives everything. I remember another couple, younger. She had a miscarriage. Her body felt like a betrayal. She did not want to be touched. For months, her husband respected that. He did not pressure her. He did not complain. He simply held her hand when she allowed it. He put his arm around her on the couch. He did not ask for more. Slowly, she began to trust her body again. Slowly, she began to want his touch again. Today, they have 2 children. But that season of no sex was not a failure. It was a season of patience. And patience became the foundation for deeper intimacy. Do not underestimate the power of non-sexual touch. Hold hands. Touch their face. Put your hand on their knee while driving. Hug for 10 seconds. These small touches are the glue. They keep you connected when life is chaos. Do not stop touching. Segment 6, when patience runs out. But let me also say something hard. Patience is not infinite. There is a difference between being patient and being a doormat. If you have been patient for years and nothing changes, if they still lie, still ignore you, still refuse to get help, then patience becomes enabling. And enabling is not love. There is a story in the Bible about a woman named Hannah. She was married to a man who loved her. But she could not have children. Her rival mocked her year after year. She prayed. She wept. She was patient. But she also cried out. She did not suffer in silence. She took her pain to God. And eventually, her prayer was answered. But what if it had not been? What if she had remained childless? Would her patience have been wasted? No. Because patience is not about getting what you want. It is about how you endure what you are given. Hannah endured with dignity. She did not become bitter. She did not take revenge. She kept her integrity. That is patience. So how do you know when to stop being patient? You ask yourself, am I being hurt? Is this person willing to change? Are they trying? If they are trying, be patient. If they are not trying, you have a different problem. Patience without effort is not love. It is captivity. You are allowed to leave. You are allowed to say, I have been patient for 10 years. I cannot do this anymore. That is not failure. That is wisdom. Do not let guilt keep you in a place where love has died. God does not want you to be destroyed by someone else's refusal to grow. Segment 7, the practice of daily love. Let me give you practical things. Real things. Things you can do today. First, every morning, before you check your phone, turn to your partner and say one specific thing you appreciate about them. Not, "You're great." Specific. "Thank you for making coffee yesterday. I loved the way you laughed at that movie. I noticed you were patient with our child." Specificity is love's address. Second, every evening, ask one question that invites vulnerability. What was the hardest part of your day? What are you worried about that you haven't told me? What do you need from me tomorrow? Do not try to fix. Just listen. Listening is a form of intimacy. Third, once a week, do something that is purely for them. Not for you. Not for the household. For them. Wash their car. Buy their favorite snack. Let them sleep in. Do it without announcing it. Do it quietly. Love does not need applause. Fourth, once a month, have a no-phone date. Not a dinner out. A date where you talk about something meaningful. Ask each other, where do you want to be in 5 years? What are you afraid of? What do you regret? These questions are doors. Walk through them. Fifth. Once a year, go away together. Even for one night. Leave the children, the chores, the obligations. Remember who you are when you are not parents or employees. Remember the two people who fell in love. They are still there. They are just buried under the calendar. Dig them out. Segment 8, a final reflection on love and time. I want to end with a thought about time. We are so afraid of wasting time. We ask, is this relationship worth my time? But time is not something we spend. Time is something we live. Every minute you spend loving someone, even imperfectly, is not wasted. It is lived. It becomes part of your story. There is a couple I know. They were married for 53 years. She died last year. At the funeral, her husband said, would do it all again. Every fight. Every disappointment. Every tear. Because she was worth it. That is love. Not love that never fails. Love that fails and tries again. Love that fails and stays anyway. You are not going to love perfectly. You are going to say the wrong thing. You are going to be selfish. You are going to forget what matters. So will they. That is not the end of the world. That is the beginning of forgiveness. And forgiveness is where love lives. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with them. Touch more. Criticize less. Listen longer. And when you fail, start again. That is the slow work of love. And it is the only work that matters. Segment 9, Bad Dates versus Good Dates, a different idea. You have heard people say that you need to have good dates to keep a relationship alive. Candlelight dinners. Sunsets on the beach. Surprise flowers. And yes, those things are lovely. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. Some of the best dates I have ever had were terrible. They were awkward. They were boring. They were frustrating. And they taught me more about love than any perfect evening ever could. Let me explain. A good date, in the normal sense of the word, is planned. Everything goes right. The food is delicious. The conversation flows. You laugh. You touch. You go home feeling closer than before. That is wonderful. But that kind of date does not test your love. It confirms it. It is dessert. Sweet, but not nutritious. A bad date, on the other hand, is the vegetable. The one you do not want to eat. The restaurant is crowded and loud. You cannot hear each other. Or the food is terrible and expensive. Or you get lost on the way there and arrive already irritated. Or you planned a romantic picnic and it started raining. Or you tried to watch a movie and fell asleep 10 minutes in. These are the dates that reveal who you really are. I remember a date early in my own relationship. We decided to go hiking. It was supposed to be beautiful. A scenic view. A picnic at the top. But we took the wrong trail. What should have been 2 hours became 4. We ran out of water. My feet hurt. I was irritable. He was irritable. We sat on a rock, not talking, both too tired to argue. And then, out of nowhere, he started laughing. Not at me. At the situation. He said, "This is the worst date I have ever been on." And I started laughing too. We sat there, tired and thirsty, laughing at ourselves. Then he took my hand and said, "But I am glad it is with you." That was not a good date by any normal measure. But it was a great date for our relationship. Because in the frustration, we chose to laugh instead of blame. We chose to stay connected instead of turning on each other. That is the test. Anyone can be loving when everything goes right. The question is, can you still love when everything goes wrong? Here is another example. A couple I know, Tom and Sarah, decided to have a date night. They had 2 young children and almost no energy. They planned to go to a nice restaurant. But the babysitter canceled at the last minute. Tom was frustrated. Sarah was near tears. They could have given up. They could have sat in separate rooms, scrolling on their phones. Instead, they put the children to bed early, ordered a cheap pizza, and ate it on the living room floor with a single candle between them. The pizza was cold. The candle was from a drawer. But they talked. Really talked. About their fears. About their dreams. About how tired they were. And they held hands. That was not the date they planned. It was better. Because it was real. So here is my idea. Stop trying to have perfect dates. Stop putting pressure on yourself to create a magical evening. Start having real dates. Dates where you are honest about being tired. Dates where you laugh at the disaster. Dates where you sit in silence and that is okay. Dates where you argue and then apologize. Those are the dates that build intimacy. Not the ones that look good on Instagram. Let me give you a practical tip. Once a month, have a deliberately low-stakes date. Do not plan anything expensive or complicated. Go for a walk. Get ice cream and sit on a bench. Go to a used bookstore and pick out a book for each other. Cook something simple together and burn it. The goal is not to impress. The goal is to be together without performance. When you stop performing, you start being real. And being real is the foundation of intimacy. Another tip. When a date goes wrong, and it will, do not blame each other. Blame the situation. Say, the universe is not cooperating tonight. Say, this is ridiculous. Say, well, this will be a story we tell later. Then pivot. Find the small joy. The bad food becomes funny. The rain becomes an excuse to dance in the car. The getting lost becomes an adventure. Your attitude is the difference between a date that breaks you and a date that bonds you. I think about old couples. The ones who have been married for 40 or 50 years. What do they remember? Do they remember the perfect dinners? Sometimes. But mostly they remember the disasters. The time the car broke down on the way to the beach. The time they got food poisoning from a sketchy restaurant. The time they tried to camp and it poured all night. Those are the stories they tell. Not because they were good dates. Because they survived them together. And survival is the deepest kind of love. So here is my challenge to you. Stop chasing the perfect date. Stop comparing your relationship to the filtered versions you see online. Those couples are not showing you the fight in the car on the way home. They are not showing you the silent treatment the next morning. You are seeing a highlight reel. Your messy, awkward, sometimes failed dates are not failures. They are practice. They are the gym where your love gets stronger. And here is one more thing. A good date does not have to be expensive. Some of the best dates cost nothing. A walk around the block. A conversation on the porch. Making popcorn and watching an old movie at home. Lying on the grass and looking at the stars. The cost of a date has nothing to do with its quality. Attention is free. Presence is free. Kindness is free. Those are the ingredients of a good date. Not the price tag. I remember a couple who had been married for 30 years. The husband was asked what his favorite date was. Everyone expected something romantic. A trip to Paris. A fancy anniversary dinner. He said, last Tuesday. We were both exhausted. We sat on the couch and did not talk for an hour. She fell asleep on my shoulder. I did not move because I did not want to wake her. That was the best date. That is love. Not the performance. The presence. Not the excitement. The peace. So let me say it plainly. If you are waiting for the perfect moment, you will wait forever. If you are waiting for the energy to plan something amazing, you will be tired forever. Start where you are. With what you have. Tonight. Sit on the floor. Order the cheap pizza. Burn the dinner. Get lost on the walk. And laugh. Laugh at yourselves. Laugh at the disaster. And hold hands in the middle of the mess. That is a good date. That is a great date. That is love. Segment 10, The Gift of Boredom. Now let me talk about something nobody wants to admit. Love is boring sometimes. Not all the time. But sometimes. And that is not a sign that something is wrong. That is a sign that you are past the fireworks and into the real thing. When you first fall in love, everything is new. You stay up all night talking. You cannot keep your hands off each other. You hang on every word. That is wonderful. But it does not last. It is not supposed to last. If it lasted, you would never sleep. You would never get any work done. You would never build anything. The intensity fades so that life can happen. And life is mostly ordinary. The danger is not boredom itself. The danger is what you do with the boredom. You might look at your partner and think, I am bored. That means I am with the wrong person. But if you leave and find someone new, the same thing will happen. The new person will become familiar. The excitement will fade. And you will be bored again. Because boredom is not a sign that your partner is inadequate. It is a sign that you have stopped being curious. Curiosity is the antidote to boredom. You are bored because you think you already know everything about them. You do not. You never will. Every person is an infinite universe. There is always more to discover. Ask a question you have never asked. What was your favorite hiding spot as a child? What is a memory that makes you cringe? What do you think happens after we die? These are not boring questions. But you have to ask them. They will not volunteer themselves. I know a couple who have been married for 52 years. I asked the wife if she was ever bored. She laughed. Of course I was bored, she said. There were years when I thought I knew everything he would ever say. But then I would look at him and realize I had never noticed the way his ears moved when he smiled. Or I would ask him a question about his childhood and he would tell me a story I had never heard. Boredom was my fault, not his. I had stopped looking. That is wisdom. Boredom is not a verdict on your partner. It is an invitation. An invitation to look again. To listen again. To be curious again. Let me give you a practical exercise. Every week, ask one new question. Not, what do you want for dinner? A real question. What is something you have never told me? What is a fear you have that you think is silly? What is a dream you have given up on? Then listen. Not while planning your response. Just listen. The answer will surprise you. And surprise is the enemy of boredom. Another exercise. Do something new together. Not big. Small. Take a different route on your walk. Try a cuisine you have never tried. Learn a silly dance from YouTube. Novelty wakes up the brain. It reminds you that this person is not a familiar object. They are a living, changing, mysterious human. Treat them that way. And here is something important. Do not mistake quiet for boredom. Silence is not the absence of love. Sometimes silence is the deepest form of intimacy. When you can sit in the same room, each doing your own thing, and feel connected without words, that is not boredom. That is peace. That is the reward of years of love. Do not throw it away because it does not look like a movie. So the next time you feel bored, do not blame your partner. Do not scroll through your phone looking for distraction. Turn toward them. Ask a question. Touch their arm. Say, "Tell me something I do not know about you." The boredom will lift. And you will remember that love is not a firework. It is a fireplace. It does not explode. It glows. And the glow is warm enough to live by. Segment 11, the courage to stay curious. Let me end this section with a story. There was a man named John. He had been married for 25 years. He came to me and said, "I love my wife, but I am not in love with her. I feel nothing when I look at her anymore." I asked him, "When was the last time you asked her a question you did not know the answer to?" He stared at me. "I know everything about her," he said. I said, "You know her history. You do not know her now. She is not the same woman you married. Neither are you. Go home and ask her something new." He was skeptical. But he went home. That night, he asked his wife, "What is something you wanted to be when you were a child that you never told me?" She looked at him strangely. Then she said, "I wanted to be a veterinarian. But my father said it was not a real job for a woman." He had been married to her for 25 years. He had never known that. He asked another question. "What is something you are afraid of right now?" She paused. "I am afraid that you do not see me anymore. That you look at me and see a habit, not a person." He started crying. She started crying. They talked for 3 hours that night. More than they had talked in years. John came back to me a month later. He said, "I was not bored with her. I was bored with myself. I had stopped being curious. Now I ask her a new question every day. I feel like I am dating her again." That is the courage to stay curious. It is not passive. It is active. It is a choice. And it is the choice that saves love from dying of boredom. So I ask you, when was the last time you were truly curious about your partner? When did you last look at them and wonder, not assume? When did you last ask a question that scared you a little? That is the work. That is the practice. That is love. Do not wait until you feel like it. Feelings follow actions. Act curious. Ask the question. Touch the hand. Look at them like they are still a mystery. Because they are. They always will be. And that is not a problem. That is a gift. An endless gift. Open it. Segment 12, Long Distance, the Geography of the Heart. Let me talk about something that many people face but few talk about honestly. Long-distance relationships. You are in love with someone who lives somewhere else. Maybe it is a different city. Maybe a different country. Maybe you see each other once a month, or once a year, or not at all for seasons at a time. People will tell you it cannot work. They will say, out of sight, out of mind. They will say, you need physical proximity to build a real life. And sometimes they are right. But not always. Sometimes, distance is not the end of love. It is the forge where love is tested and strengthened. I have known couples who survived years apart. He was in the military. She was finishing medical school. They spoke every night on the phone. They wrote letters, real letters, on paper. They sent care packages. They celebrated birthdays over video calls. And when they finally closed the distance, their marriage was stronger than many couples who had never been apart. Why? Because they had learned to communicate without the crutch of physical touch. They had learned to listen with their whole attention. They had learned that a voice on the phone can be as intimate as a body in a bed. But let me also be honest. Long distance is hard. It is very hard. There are nights when you just want to be held, and no amount of texting can fix that. There are fights that are harder to resolve because you cannot see the tears. There are misunderstandings that grow because you cannot read the body language. So let me give you tips that work for those who are in the geography of the heart. First tip. Establish a rhythm. Not a rigid schedule, but a predictable one. Every evening at 9, you call. Every Sunday morning, you have a video breakfast together. The rhythm creates safety. It says, you are not forgotten. You are part of my daily life, even if you are not in my room. Second tip. Do not rely only on text. Text is thin. It strips away tone. A joke becomes an insult. A simple statement becomes a mystery. Use voice messages. Use video calls. Use the old-fashioned phone call. Hearing a voice reminds you that there is a human on the other end. Not just words on a screen. Third tip. Find shared activities even when apart. Watch the same movie at the same time. Read the same book and discuss it. Cook the same recipe over video call. Play an online game together. Do not let the distance stop you from creating shared experiences. Shared experiences are the soil where love grows. Without them, you become strangers who exchange pleasantries. Fourth tip. Talk about the future. Not just, I miss you. That is important, but it is not enough. Talk about the plan. When will the distance end? Who will move? What will the first week together look like? Having a concrete plan makes the waiting bearable. It turns the distance from a permanent condition into a temporary season. Fifth tip. Be honest about loneliness. Do not pretend you are fine when you are not. Tell them, I am having a hard day today. I need to hear your voice. That vulnerability is a gift. It invites them to share their own loneliness. And shared loneliness becomes intimacy. I think about a young woman named Chloe. She was in a long-distance relationship for 3 years. Her boyfriend lived 600 miles away. They saw each other once every 2 months. She told me, the hardest part was not the missing. It was the small moments. I would see a couple holding hands in the grocery store, and my chest would hurt. I would wake up from a dream where he was next to me, and the empty space on the bed felt like a wound. But she stayed. They both stayed. They learned to send voice notes about the small things. I just saw a dog that looked like the one you had as a child. I am eating the cereal you hate, just to feel close to you. Those little messages were threads. And threads woven together become a rope. And the rope held. Today, they are married. They live in the same city. She says, the long distance taught us to never take proximity for granted. We still send each other voice notes, even from the next room. That is the gift of distance. It teaches you that love is not about convenience. It is about choice. Segment 13, Loving Another Person, the Myth of the One. Let me now talk about something that confuses many people. The idea that there is one perfect person for you. The soulmate. The other half. The one that destiny has chosen. This idea is beautiful in movies. But in real life, it can be dangerous. Because when you believe in the one, you also believe that if things get hard, you must be with the wrong person. You start looking for flaws as evidence that they are not the one. You keep one foot out the door, waiting for a sign that someone better is coming. I do not believe in the one. I believe in the many. I believe that there are thousands, perhaps millions, of people with whom you could build a good life. The question is not, is this the one? The question is, are we willing to become the two? Love is not about finding a perfect match. It is about creating a partnership. Two flawed humans who decide to grow together. Let me tell you about a couple I know. They have been married for 40 years. I asked the wife, "Is he your soulmate?" She laughed. "No," she said. "We are very different. We argue about politics, about money, about how to raise children. But we decided a long time ago that we would not leave. We would figure it out. That decision is what makes us soulmates, not some cosmic accident. That is wisdom. Soulmates are not found. They are made. By staying. By forgiving. By choosing again and again. Loving another person means accepting that they will disappoint you. They will fail you. They will not read your mind. They will have bad days when they cannot give you what you need. That is not a sign that you chose wrong. That is a sign that you chose a human. And humans are unreliable sometimes. The question is not whether they will fail. The question is whether you will both keep showing up after the failure. The Bible talks about love as a commitment. The Hebrew word, hesed, appears over and over. It means loving kindness, but more than that. It means loyal love. The love that stays when staying is hard. The love that does not run when the other person is unlovable. That is the love that lasts. Not the love that feels easy. The love that chooses to be loyal. So here is my advice. Stop searching for the one. Start being the one. Be the person who is loyal. Be the person who forgives. Be the person who communicates honestly. Be the person who shows up. And look for someone who is trying to do the same. Not someone who is perfect. Someone who is willing. That is enough. That is more than enough. And if you are single and wondering if you will ever find love, do not despair. There is not one person out there for you. There are many. You will meet some. You will miss others. You will make mistakes. You will learn. That is not tragedy. That is life. Keep your heart open. Keep being someone worth loving. And love will find you. Not because of destiny. Because of proximity, timing, and choice. Segment 14, Communication, the bridge that never stops being built. Let me talk about communication. The word is used so often that it has almost lost its meaning. We need to communicate better. But what does that actually mean? Let me give you a definition. Communication is the practice of making your inner world visible to another person. And it is a practice. It is not something you learn once and then have forever. It is something you do every day, often badly, and then try again. Most couples do not have a communication problem. They have a listening problem. They hear the words, but they do not hear the person behind the words. They are waiting for their turn to speak. They are preparing their defense. They are gathering evidence for why they are right. That is not listening. That is two monologues happening at the same time. Real listening is rare. Real listening means you stop planning your response. You stop interrupting. You stop finishing their sentences. You sit in the discomfort of not knowing what to say. And you say, "Tell me more." That is the most powerful phrase in any relationship. Tell me more. Not, "Here is why you are wrong." Not, "I understand, but." Just, tell me more. Let me give you an example. A husband comes home angry. He snaps at his wife. Her instinct might be to snap back. Or to cry. Or to withdraw. But imagine if she took a breath and said, "You seem really upset. Tell me more." He might say, "Work was terrible." She says, "Tell me more." He says, "My boss humiliated me in front of everyone." She says, "That sounds awful. Tell me more." She is not fixing. She is not judging. She is inviting. And in that invitation, he feels safe. And when he feels safe, he stops snapping. He starts sharing. The conflict de-escalates not because she won an argument, but because she listened. That is communication. Not clever strategies. Curiosity. Patience. The willingness to set aside your own agenda for a moment and enter someone else's world. Let me give you another practical tool. Use I statements. Do not say, "You always ignore me." That is an accusation. The other person will immediately defend themselves. Say instead, "I feel lonely when I do not hear from you. I would love it if we could check in more often." The first version attacks. The second version shares a feeling and makes a request. One creates a fight. The other creates a conversation. Another tool. When you are in an argument, and you feel yourself getting too angry to listen, call a timeout. Not a storm out. A real timeout. Say, "I am too angry to talk well right now. I need 20 minutes. I am not leaving you. I am calming down. I will come back." Then take a walk. Breathe. And come back. This is not running away. This is self-regulation. And it is a sign of maturity, not weakness. I have seen couples who never learned this. They fight to win. They bring up old wounds. They use words as weapons. And slowly, the weapons leave scars. The scars become walls. The walls become silence. And the silence becomes the end. Do not let that be you. Learn to fight without weapons. Learn to listen without defending. Learn to say, "I am sorry," before you are sure you are wrong. Because connection is more important than being right. The Bible says, "Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." That is the perfect formula for communication. Quick to hear. Slow to speak. Slow to anger. If you could practice just that, your relationship would transform. Not overnight. But over time. And time is what love is made of. Segment 15, Staying Connected When Life is Loud. Let me end this section with a reflection on staying connected in the noise of daily life. Long-distance relationships are hard, but so are short-distance relationships where you live in the same house and never really see each other. You are both busy. You have jobs, children, chores, appointments, exhaustion. You pass each other like ships in the night. You say, "How was your day?" and before they answer, you are already looking at your phone. That is not connection. That is proximity without presence. Connection requires intention. It does not happen by accident. You have to build it into your day, or it will be crowded out by 1,000 urgent things that are not important. Here is a simple practice. Every day, have a connection moment. It does not have to be long. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Put down the phone. Turn off the television. Look at each other. Ask one real question. What was the best part of your day? What was the hardest? What do you need from me tonight? Then listen. That is it. 5 minutes of focused attention. That is more connection than hours of sitting in the same room while scrolling. Another practice. Create rituals. Rituals are habits with meaning. Every morning, make coffee for each other. Every night, say goodnight with a kiss that lasts 6 seconds. Every Sunday, take a walk together. Rituals become anchors. They say, no matter how chaotic life gets, this moment is ours. I know a couple who have been married for 30 years. Every night, before they fall asleep, they say 3 things they are grateful for. Not about each other necessarily. About the day. The warmth of the sun. A kind word from a colleague. A good meal. But by sharing gratitude in each other's presence, they end the day connected. That is a small thing. But small things, repeated, become a life. Let me also say this. Do not wait for a crisis to reconnect. Do not wait until one of you is crying or threatening to leave. Do not wait until the distance has grown so wide that you cannot see each other. Connect now. Today. Send the text that says, "I am thinking of you." Touch their shoulder as you walk by. Leave a note on the pillow. These are not grand gestures. They are pennies. And pennies, saved over time, become a fortune. Finally, remember that connection is not about words all the time. Sometimes it is about presence. Sitting together in silence. Holding hands in the car. Watching the same sunset from different windows. Love does not always need to speak. Sometimes love just needs to be there. Be there. Even when you have nothing to say. Especially then. Thank you for listening. These segments, on distance, on the myth of the one, on communication, on connection, they are all part of the same truth. Love is not magic. It is practice. Practice being curious. Practice being patient. Practice being present. And when you fail, and you will, practice starting again. That is the slow work. And it is the only work that matters. Go now. Send the voice note. Make the call. Touch the hand. Be there. And let yourself be loved in return.